Okay, trigonometry word problems. Yay, lots of fun. Not really. All right, the biggest pain in the ass for me is writing all these down. It takes forever. So you have Brian there flying a kite, and he's using 65 feet of string. And of course, the kite string is perfectly straight. Yay! There's the kite string. There's Brian. Now, they're telling you the angle of elevation from the ground up to the kite is 63 degrees. So you have to put the 63 there. My 6 and my 3 ran together. I tried. And you want to know how high off the ground is the kite. Well, I mean, I'm going to call it H for height, for convenience. So again, right triangle. I have the opposite side. I have an angle. I have the side opposite that angle. And I have the hypotenuse, which is the string. That's the diagonal. So I have to use sine. So that means that the sine of 63 is equal to H over 65. That's the first part, right? You write the equation down based on the ratio that you pick. In this case, it was sine. Then you got to do your crisscross, right? You do your cross multiply. Put the 65 on the other side with the sine 63. That's equal to the height. And then you whip out the calculator. I mean, really, what the hell else can you do? You got to compute it. So I'm going to do 65 times sine 63. I'm typing it in there. I hit equal. And I got, let's see if we can get it come out nice. 57.91. So almost 58 feet off the ground. There you go. Right? Read the problem. Draw your picture. Doesn't have to be incredible artwork. This is the important part. You write your equation based on the ratio. You solve it for the letter that you want, and then you punch it in the calculator, and you get your final number. All right, question 2. You're about to bungee jump, off a cliff. It's pretty morbid. You're going to jump off a cliff. You're going to bungee jump off the cliff. 300 feet is pretty high. So that's a big drop. Now your friend's on the ground watching you. So, I'm going to draw the cliff. There it is. There's you. You're going to bungee jump. The cliff, right? I mean, this is the side of your triangle. That's 300 feet high. Your buddy is down there watching you, hoping you don't splat. Although maybe if he's not a good friend, he wants you to splat. You can see you have a triangle. Now, remember, the angle of depression is you looking down. I understand that's not, I want to draw it up there, but I want to draw the triangle correctly. And you know what? I am going to do that. Here, I'll just extend that. There's your line of sight. You're looking down at your friend. You're looking down at your friend on the ground with that angle of depression of 31. And I want to know how far away he's standing from the bottom of the cliff. That's that distance from him to the bottom of the cliff you're about to jump off of. So cliff's 300 feet high. Your angle of depression down from you to him is 31. That means that the angle from him to you, it is impossible for you to look down with that angle of 31 and he's looking up at you and the angle's 40 and he's looking over your head then. You must be looking at the same angle down that he's looking up or he won't see you at all. So that's the trick to this problem. The angle of depression does not go here. This is a very common mistake. Students put that 31 there. And also, students will put this here and then they'll figure out this angle. Don't do that. Take this angle and throw it right down there. Boom. It's just, you cannot possibly do it any easier or faster than that. Whatever the angle of depression is, make it into the angle of elevation. Now, I have the opposite side and the adjacent side. Notice, I don't know anything about the hypotenuse. I don't know it. So this means I have to pick tan. So the tan of 31 is what? Opposite hypotenuse. So it's 300 over x. So again, you figure out the ratio it has to be. You write the equation down. That's step 1. Step 2 is to solve that equation for x. So remember what you do when the letter's on the bottom. You're going to trade places with them. The x is going to come up. The tan is going to go down. So just switch places with them. Right? That's the big trade. If you want here, pretty red, make this switch. They switch, right? This is cross multiplying. But instead of bringing the x up there, I mean, you do, but you also bring that one down at the same time. You do it simultaneously. Now, what do? I can't do this. I don't know what the hell this is. I have to do it on my calculator. I take 300 divided by tan 31. I mean, I type it in, and then I hit equal. I mean, you couldn't even see that, but you'll see this. Wow, 499. I mean, it's 499.28. I would make that 500, but it's not. I'm going to put approximately 499.28. That's pretty damn far. I mean, the cliff is only 300 feet. He's standing like 500 feet away. That's a little ridiculous, but this is how it worked out. I needed to make that angle bigger for this to be, not such a ridiculously huge number. I should have made that angle like 62 or something. So this is the secret to the angle of depression problem. Just turn it into an angle of elevation problem, which is much easier. All right, the third one. So you have a ladder leaning against the building, right? They tell you that the ladder is 20 feet long. So make a ladder. Here's your building. There's a ladder. Make a ladder. And they tell you the ladder is 20 feet long. I mean, look, you don't, I have in my teaching career seen students make the ladder like this. And if you want to try to climb up the building that way, go take a ladder and put it flush up against the wall at 90 degrees and see if you're able to climb. You'll make it a couple of rungs before the ladder falls down on you. The ladder has to be placed on a diagonal against the building. Watch firefighters climb up a ladder. It's placed this way. But I've seen students do this, so I felt it necessary to mention it. Now, they also tell you that the base of the ladder, I don't know what that means. The base is the bottom. This is the base of the ladder. They're telling you that it's 15 feet from the bottom of the wall. Well, look, a triangle. Yay. There's the building. There's the bottom of the ladder. It's 15 feet from the bottom of the wall. The ladder is 20 feet. I want to know the angle that the ladder makes with the ground. So what you're really finding is the angle of elevation. They didn't say it. They didn't say find the angle of elevation. You don't need to say it. They just say find the angle that the ladder makes with the ground. There is an angle here. When you put that ladder against the wall, you created an angle. So how do you figure it out? I don't know. You got to use the trig ratio. So let's put a little theta for the angle. Now we have to look at the sides we have. Our angle is down here at the bottom, right? I have adjacent, opposite, and hypotenuse, but I don't know anything about the opposite. I don't know how high up the wall the ladder goes. I only know the hypotenuse and the adjacent side. That's our good friend cosine. Children are hyper. So the angle I'm looking for, cosine of that angle, is the adjacent side, which is 15, over the hypotenuse, which is 20. So again, step one, write your equation. Step two, write the thing that you're going to solve it for the missing part. Write the equation that you're going to plug into the calculator. So the opposite of cosine is inverse cosine. So in order to find the angle, I have to do the opposite of cosine. So I do cosine's inverse of that number. So on my calculator, and I'm aware that's 3/4. So it's not necessary to reduce that fraction. If you want to make it 3/4, I don't know why you would. Just put inverse cosine on the calculator. That's what I'm doing. And then I'm going to put 15 divided by 20. Again, that's what you type. Then you hit equal. I got 41.4. Well, 41.409. So whatever. I'll round it to two places. I get 41.41. 4141. All right, so again, the picture is the key to these. You can't, how do you pick the trig guy without the picture? And the picture's worth a point. You have to draw the picture if you want the full credit. I mean, I have to see your drawing. My artwork is horrible, but I'm making a picture. You can see it's a triangle. You can see you have the hypotenuse and the adjacent side. I make my equation. I solved it for theta, which is the missing part. Put it on the calculator. So 1, 2, 3 points, and then that's your fourth point. So that problem would be worth 4 because you got to make the picture. All right, I'm going to do one more. Okay, the fourth one. Even though I had you do 1 through 5, it's a pain in the ass writing these. I think, what, I will do the fifth one. I just won't write the question on the board. Because it's another angle of depression one. It's exactly the same as number 2, except the sides are reversed. It's the same problem. But I'll write my triangle up for that. Now, here I have an elf. Fine. An elf. I guess I got to give him pointy ears. Now he looks like a devil. Whatever. An elf is standing 80 feet from the base of the tower. So you have some tower here, or whatever. Right there's the tower. And he's standing 80 feet from the bottom of it. And they tell you that the angle of elevation to the top of that tower, the angle of elevation looking up from the ground, right, is 35 degrees. And I want to know how tall the tower is. And again, I'll call it H for height, just for convenience. You can call it X. You can call it whatever the hell you want. Now, again, I don't know the hypotenuse here, right? I don't know the diagonal. Sometimes they'll tell you, oh, there's a wire attached from the top of the tower down to the bottom. Then you would know the hypotenuse. And then you would use either sine or cosine. As soon as they give you a problem where you don't have the hypotenuse, it's tan. It's always tan. So I know that I'm going to use tangent because I have the opposite side and the adjacent side. I don't have the hypotenuse. So the tangent of 35 is going to be the opposite side, which is H, over the adjacent side, which is 80. Right? Why is that adjacent? Because that one's touching. Right? The side that is touching the angle is the adjacent side. So step 1, you write your equation down using your trig ratio. Step 2, do your little cross multiplication dealing. Solve for H. Get H alone. H is equal to 80 times tan 35. If you want to put the H on that side, fine. I just rewrote it this way. And then what's the final step? Press a bunch of buttons on your damn calculator. I mean, that's all you do. I'm going to hit 80 times tan 35. 56.01. That's what I get. Again, what a glare. So 56.01. I'm just going to write 56. I mean, $56.01 is $56. So the tower is 56 feet tall. Whatever I said, if I had said yards or inches, whatever, you don't have to write the unit. All right, so again, read the question, draw yourself a picture, and then write your equation, solve it, put it in the calculator. I am going to do number 5. I'm just not going to write the whole question up because it takes me too long. Let's see how this works. All right, so I have a lighthouse. There's a lighthouse and it looks terrible. And there's a boat in the water. Here's the boat. Here's the water. Whee! They tell you that the boat is 150 feet from the base of the lighthouse, from the bottom of the lighthouse. They also tell you the angle of depression from the top of the lighthouse looking down at the boat. The angle of depression is 31 degrees. I probably should have picked another angle because I used 31 earlier. So the angle of depression from the top of the lighthouse down to the boat is 31 degrees. That means that the angle of elevation looking up from the boat to the top of the lighthouse is 31 degrees. And then the question was, how tall is the lighthouse? So I probably put that in a bad spot. And that's my half-assed attempt to draw water. So again, you can see you don't have the hypotenuse, so you have to use tangent. So your equation would be that the tangent of 31 is opposite, which is H, over the adjacent side, right? Opposite, adjacent. And then just crisscross. Actually, this is the exact same. It's almost like the same question I just did, question 4. I'm experiencing deja vu. Put the 150 here. 150 times tan 31. That's H. I mean, I just want you to have the answer to it because I did ask you guys to do it. So at least you'll have the answer. So I got 90.13. And again, the angle, if I had made that bigger, it changes, it's pretty far apart. I mean, 90 feet isn't that high. So if I had wanted this to be taller, I should have made that angle larger. In fact, I will go to that sheet and I will change that question and change that angle. So anyway, those are the 5 word problems. Again, read them carefully. Make sure you understand what you're doing. Make yourself a picture because it's worth points anyway. And then, label it correctly. Be careful with the angle of depression. As soon as you see that, boop, you make it into the angle of elevation. All right, that's it.